No, 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 no. We are talking about this again. You gotta be kidding me. I thought this was done. This was a conversation that we had 3 years ago, but now it has brought itself up back in the frame. If you've been paying attention to the channel, you would have seen a few videos pop up on your timeline. Firstly, you would have seen the 2 videos we had made about New York Rangers first overall pick Alexis Lafreniere and the backlash and disappointment that has been thrown his way. Long story short, he was supposed to be good, he's not really that great, and fans of the Rangers are starting to turn on him after years of defending and persuading themselves that he would be okay. Don't worry, this guy was taken first overall, but he had a slow start, that's fine. Jack Hughes was first overall, he had a slow start too, he's okay. Lafreniere, hopefully we see similar things. Yeah, spoiler alert, he has not done that. And now it's been really changed, the perspective and the perception everybody has about this guy. We made those 2 videos. You also would have seen the video we made a few days ago on Martin Jones and whether or not there's a Leafs and a Lightning trade happening soon. In this video in particular, we used an article from the Hockey News to bring up our idea and get the conversation going. In this video, I wanted to bring that article back up, because heading over to this piece, Rue de Rumours, the New York Rangers conundrum, it goes over an idea that we had talked about endlessly so long ago, but is now being brought back into the forefront. So link is going to be in the description if you want to go ahead and read this piece. It says here in the subheadline, Alexis Lafreniere has been the poster boy for a build-up to a letdown. Lucky for Big Al, Chris Drury has patiently avoided trading the French Canadian. Now, the article goes over the things that are happening with Lafreniere. He has been disappointing, and he has been sort of a letdown, but with everything considered, Chris Drury has avoided trading him so far. But that could change soon, maybe sooner than expected. Rookie left wing Brayden Othmann has been treating every exhibition match like it's Game 7 of the Cup Final. Brayden Othmann is reminiscent of an A1 Drury in mint condition. I can see Canny Chris saying he's tired of waiting for lounging Lafreniere to wake up. Trade-wise, Alexis can bring in plenty, and wouldn't he just look ginger peachy in the blue, white, and red of the Canadiens? Now, okay, that's the idea. Let's talk about Montreal, and whether or not Lafreniere could be traded here. Now, the last time we had made a video about Lafreniere and the Habs, I'm gonna have to go into my calendar here. Let's search Lafreniere Habs. When was the last time we did this? Was it, oh boy, it doesn't even go back that far. Lafreniere Canadiens? No, there isn't anything there. Okay. YouTube. We're doing the YouTube search here. The last video that we made about the idea of Lafreniere heading over to the Montreal Canadiens was all the way back 9 months ago when we talked about the idea of the Canadiens targeting this guy. And then if you go back even further, 4 years ago, we made a video about what if the Habs drafted Lafreniere. 3 years ago, during the 2020 draft season, we talked about how apparently Lafreniere did not meet with the Habs. There were so many conversations about Lafreniere and Montreal that were brought up just because the guy is from Quebec, and it would have been a crazy story to have a first overall guy drafted by Montreal and have that hometown connection. Lafreniere was so hyped up in his draft year, everybody was saying best QMJHL prospect since Crosby. Even me, in the Why I Want video that we made about him, even all the conversations we had then, said, yeah, this guy could make the NHL year 1, he'll have a better rookie season than Jack Hughes had because he's so smart and he can read the plays very well. This guy's gonna be great. And if Montreal gets him, that is perfect. Imagine a first line of Lafreniere, Kotkaniemi, and Caulfield. That sounds great. But it did not go down that way. The Habs did not draft first overall. They slipped from being a play-in team to actually making the first round of the 2020 playoffs, and they drafted Caden Gooley as a result. Okay, that's fine. Gooley's a great player, but he's no Alexis Lafreniere, right? Well, it's been a few years, and Lafreniere is not that player that we thought he would be. Very disappointing at this point in his career, and now there are trade rumors linking him back to the Habs. The funny part is, though, and this is kind of why I wanted to make this video, I wanted to say this: if Montreal finds a way to get Alexis Lafreniere on their team, you gotta make sure it's the right choice. You absolutely cannot afford to let this guy suffer. And by suffer, I mean not develop properly, not be good. If you get Alexis Lafreniere on your team and you take away minutes from fellow left winger Yuri Slafkovsky and they both end up sucking because of it, that would be the worst case scenario for all the people who are looking at the Canadiens and thinking of them as a good team for development. Suzuki, mwah, chef's kiss, great player. Caulfield, even better. Caden Gooley is looking great. But if you have 2 first overall guys on this team that are not able to impress, then you start to say more, okay, well, yeah, you got Suzuki, you got Caulfield, but what about Slafkovsky, Lafreniere? Add that to the list of guys that did not work out. The Max Domis, the Drouins, okay, Domi had a 70-point year, but it was all downhill from there. The Drouins, the Kotkanyemis, the Galchenyuks, all these third overall guys. Add them all with the first overall guys in Slafkovsky and Lafreniere. If Lafreniere comes over to Montreal and he is just the same old Lafreniere that is not able to really keep up with the play, his foot speed is not great, he doesn't have great hands, doesn't have great skills at the NHL level, if he is not able to improve, then you're going to be hurting both him and Slafkovsky by putting him in that Montreal spotlight. And that's not even to hate on Uri. We've been making our few videos over the past few days talking about some of the discourse. Y'all are talking about Matthew Nyes and whether or not Slafkovsky's better or worse than other players in the NHL that are not great. And it's all fun and games because everybody in the comments is always saying the same thing. Hey, Slafkovsky's 19 years old. Who cares? Like, he's still young enough that we can give him the benefit of the doubt. You know who we can't give the benefit of the doubt to? Alex Galchenyuk. To an extent, Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Alexis Lafreniere is sort of entering that territory. Guess what? The Rangers had another first-round pick that ended up busting in Elias Anderson. Guess where that guy is right now? He's in Laval. He was a Montreal Canadien and he was waived a few days ago. If Alexis Lafreniere is any sort of a similar profile to that, and he comes over to Montreal, takes ice time away from Slafkovsky, and they both suffer, then that is the doomsday scenario. Now, I'm not going to go out there and dismiss the idea that this might actually work. Like, Lafreniere was a first overall talent for a reason. He was highly touted for a reason. The way he reads the game, how he was able to stop and go and develop offense just from his very creative passing and almost opportunistic ability to read when it's appropriate to strike, go to the net, make a shot, make a pass, whatever. He read the game like a game of chess, and that's kind of why he was so good in the QMJHL, playing with bad defenses, and in a league where he didn't need to have the best foot speed to excel. Lafreniere was so good, and if those skills translate to the NHL, this guy could be a beast of a playmaker who could be the absolute driving force on a line. Lafreniere is just not that, though. He has not been able to adjust to the NHL speed, the pace, and the skills required to be that kind of a player in this league. If he comes to Montreal and for some reason it clicks, it works, he's able to do the things that we thought Jonathan Drouin would be able to do, he's able to do the things that Rangers fans thought he would be able to do when he was drafted first overall, then great. If you have this workout with Slafkovsky, then that is amazing. But how likely is that really going to happen? I don't know, like, I, of course, am a big fan of the comeback story, a guy who's down there in the dumps, you know, he's beaten down, he's sobbing on the street, sitting down with ragged, wet clothes, and he just needs a pick-me-up. He finds somebody, a trainer or whatever, he goes to the gym, he works out, he gets better, and he wins the world title or something like that. We love comeback stories because we see ourselves in the protagonists who grow and become better. But for Lafreniere, there's been so many roadblocks and non-progressions in his story that there's so many Rangers fans who have given up on this guy. Is it even worth it for the Montreal Canadiens to try to make a trade for this player? It's been 4 years since we initially talked about this back in 2019. Now, we're still talking about it. But not because this guy's supposed to be amazing, but because this guy has been bad. Where do we go from here? If you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Canadiens targeting Alexis Lafreniere? I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.